This is actually a kind of unusual double passage. Usually, we have, two people who disagree about something and they're arguing their side. And a lot of times we can get that also from the blurb at the beginning. Here, the blurb is not very helpful. Passage 1 is adapted from Michael Slezak's Space Mining, the Next Gold Rush. Passage 2 is from the editor's New Scientist, Taming the Final Frontier. Neither of those titles really tell me what anyone's position is. It's not helpful. However, by now we've done all the other questions for this passage. We know kind of what's going on. And I would say that this, especially because of the last question, number 47, we were able to get a lot more of a sense of passage 2. So passage 1 is very positive on what's going on. Passage 2 is a little bit more mixed. There's a little bit of positives and negatives. So that can help us. That's what I would call a dumb summary, right? Notice there's no words even to describe the passages. I'm just using positive and negative connotations to kind of get across the relationship. So what matches with that? Well, choice A is pretty tempting because, again, generally speaking, the SAT does involve two passages that go against each other. And so that seems to suggest that there's disagreement, and A also suggests that. However, that word refute is an important word. To refute means to prove something wrong. And so a lot of times what will happen is we will have passages that disagree, and the second passage will attempt to refute the first passage's argument. But whether it actually does or not, it's almost never going to actually prove it wrong. There's only like 50 lines here. There's only so much you can do. So refute is a very strong word here. And even if these passages did disagree, that word would bother me. It's almost always going to be a word that is wrong on the SAT because it goes too far. It's not proven that space mining is bad. So it's just, you're very rarely going to prove anything in life. So that strong word is really going to help me here because I think that choice is otherwise tempting. Let's keep going. Passage 2 illustrates the phenomenon described in more general terms in passage 1. Okay, so what would be the phenomenon? Space mining? So the phenomenon is space mining, and it's talked about generally in passage 1, but more specifically in passage 2. Here's the thing. I have no idea what this choice even means. What does it mean to talk about something in general terms? I guess they're talking about space mining. They're not really getting into the specifics of how you're going to drill into an asteroid, so it seems general, I guess. But it's illustrating that phenomenon. And how is it illustrating it? I don't know what this means. This is a vague phrase. Now, sometimes that's good. That might mean that, okay, if everything else is wrong, I pick this because nothing else makes any sense. But I don't have an immediate reaction about what it's even trying to say. So that's okay. I'm not going to dive too deeply into it. I'm going to move on. Let's look at the other choices and see if anything's better. C, passage 2 argues against the practicality of the proposals put forth in passage 1. Well, again, that's tempting. Argues against sounds like, the way that these passages typically work. But remember, my dumb summary of the second passage was that it is positive in certain respects, right? No doubt this will make a few millions even wealthier. We all stand to gain. The mineral bounty and spin-off technologies could enrich us all. So he's saying good things about space mining. He's going to say some negative things too, but it's not a direct argument against it. It's kind of a little bit more complex than that. And that brings us to choice D. Passage 2 expresses reservations about developments discussed in passage 1. This is so much weaker. Expresses reservations just means doubts, right? So that is absolutely how passage 2 functions. It says, yeah, space mining is great, but let's hold our horses a little bit. Let's just take a breath and ask some questions and not get carried away. And that's safer in this case. I would say normally that's not how these passages are related, but they could be related in any way. It's just that we, more frequently see disagreement. But those strong words really do help us notice the differences between these choices. And the dumb summary, I think, here really helped. Just seeing that connotation, positive versus this more mixed thing, that really helps me understand kind of what I've got, and that makes the choices then much easier to sort through. Because I'm like, okay, it's not a direct argument, right? It's not positive and negative. It's positive and mixed. So that helped me get rid of A and C, and then D just seems more, more weak, more comfortable.